Do I need to sell my home before I buy my next one? Or what are my options? Let's break it down and see step by step how to approach this particular part of our life. Let's discuss what options you have. The first option is to buy, then sell. A lot of people consider this as aggressive. It's actually not aggressive for most part of the market. Like, how many times did you see the market go in a downswing? Maybe 2011, maybe one dot-com bust. So for me, in my last 25 years, those are about the 2 times I've seen the market go down. So in most other cases, the market is typically going up. And if you do have the holding capacity and you do have the capacity to pay the mortgage on 2 properties, then you can command your price. You can tell the buyer that you don't want to sell if it does not meet your particular goals. So, but that is for those people that have that much liquidity in hand and the ability to continue to make those payments when you are having those many assets. And that's the reason why people call it as aggressive. But it is by far the most profitable way of buying a property. Next, you could perhaps, so there are some lenders and big banks particularly, where if you have investment accounts with them, they give you mortgages against those that make them, that give you 100% loan to purchase the new property. In this case, my clients don't sell any stock and they don't sell their current home. They get 100% loan from the lender and they go buy this property. And once they bought the property, then when this first property sells, they go and repay that or restructure the entire loan. So that's another way. Even if you do a 5% or 3.5% loan, what you can typically do is you can, once this property sells, you can, once that money comes back into you, you can take that money, pay down the mortgage to a substantial place or to the point where you think that it is structurally right. Now, I'm going to insist on the structurally right business because most people are completely risk averse. They get money from the first home sale, they want to go with no mortgage on the second home and they want to clear off all the mortgage. You cannot do anything worse to yourself than that. I want to quote one radio jockey, Rob Black. He used to say that unless I have a concussion, a severe concussion on my head, I'm not going to pay off my mortgages. Number 2. Sell first, then buy. So how to stay strong when selling first? When you sell first, you need to keep the momentum. You will have to move all your items into storage. You will need to figure out that you will need to have a plan on what exactly to bid on, what exactly to buy, how to target the market, and what properties to identify. So it's very important that you have a plan and you don't lose the momentum, because sometimes when you move into a temporary rental, that temporary rental could take much longer and you might just think, oh, it's much easier to rent, I don't need to buy, and then you are again a renter forever. So when you sell first, you have to make your plan very strong and you have to have your items moved into a temporary storage. You have an unstable life, so you have to be prepared with all of that. The third option, and actually a lot of my clients have been doing this, they buy and they just don't sell their first one. They keep that in their portfolio, rent it out and collect the rental income from their property. So they become investors because the numbers are usually much easier to work out, because somebody bought that property 5 or 10 years back. It's probably doubled, or maybe in the Bay Area, 2.5 times the value. So even if you rent today and the mortgage is at its lowest, if they refinance the property into 2022. So if you look at all of these factors together, you will see that they can very easily become investors from homeowners. And that's a very good strategy. Now here, you will start getting rental income, you will start getting appreciation, keep collecting appreciation from the old property and the new property that you buy. So that becomes your primary, this becomes your investment. Now, here is where I come step in. The calculations have to make sense. Your numbers have to be right. You need help designing this kind of a transition from being a primary homeowner to an investor and a homeowner all at the same time. So you know how many different moving parts you're going to be dealing with. And that's where you need professional advice. The last but not least, numbers, taxes, and timing. So like I told you earlier, when you buy first, numbers are extremely critical because you're going to be dealing with very big portfolio of real estate into your own portfolio. But so you need to know your mortgages, you need to know your carrying cost of the first home, the previous home that you owned, and the cost that you're going to pay for the next home. And you are going to have to make provision for that much liquidity for the period that you're going to hold this property. And so you need to be very careful about those numbers. Do not forget that there is a capital gains tax. Work with your tax consultant to know your capital gains tax number. You might think that, oh, if I file single, I get a 250k exemption. If I'm married filing jointly, I get a 500k exemption. A lot of people think that when they sell a property, if they take this money and roll the entire money into their next home, that entire money is tax-free. Completely wrong. Does not happen on a primary home. This only happens in investment properties where you buy second investment property from the proceeds of the first. You move all that cash that you realize into the next one, and that's where you don't have to pay taxes. But when you are selling your primary, remember that you will have to pay a substantial chunk of capital gains tax, and please make sure that you figure that out. I love this topic and would take you to structure your finances the way they work better for you than not work for you. So that's that. I hope you liked this video, and if you like this one, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want more of these, and if you think your friends would love them, please share. Thanks for watching. See you on my next one.